Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now.
It gave me time to make a cup of tea.
Oh, what kind of tea do you like to drink?
Oh, well, I love just a weak black normal leaf tea.
Mm-hmm.
However, I also love peppermint tea,
Mm-hmm.
and I love lemongrass and ginger.
Lemon, okay. Not the lemon, just maybe lemon and ginger for me. I don't know.
Lemon and ginger is nice too, and and mint. However, I also have what some people think is a strange habit, which I don't care if what they think.
Exactly.
I'm currently drinking, so I've had my cup of tea, and every cup of tea I drink, I follow by a mug of boiling water.
Really?
Yeah. So I drink a lot of water in the day.
I do
and
too.
and it's very healthy. However, I drink mostly boiled water, so boiling hot water. I love it.
Well, they say it's good for your digestion.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
that's good. So you have what? Well, I guess I'm the polar opposite because I love ice water. Oh my God.
Right.
I love it
Yeah.
cold. And I can drink it room temperature, which is really good for the body because it's much easier to absorb.
Yeah, exactly. So this hot, I don't drink it piping hot, but it's a nice temperature for it to go in my body. And if you drink icy water, your body's got to work harder to process it. So,
but it quenches the thirst like no other.
For me, it doesn't so much.
Really? Oh, for me, it sets me to the moon.
I think, my granddaughters love the ice water because they've got one of those things in their fridge that you can put up to the fridge and the ice comes out.
Oh,
as
the ice maker, yes.
The water and the ice thing. It's very fancy. But now they're so
I got one that'll top that. My girlfriend's refrigerator speaks to you.
Ooh.
Yes, creepy. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Right here. This is the spot, boom, in your face. The location where the conversation is pointed and the guests are sharp and the responses are never dull. Today we have Sue Stevenson, all the way from Australia. She's going to talk to us about smashing anxiety for parents and for their kids. Let's welcome her to the edge. How are you, Sue?
Really well, thank you.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here. We were talking about tea in the green room a little bit earlier. I like to get a little outtake. Tell my brains how you show up in the world and exactly what it is that you're doing in the world of parenting and kids.
Yes. Well, what I do, I offer a program that helps parents confidently calm their anxious kids in 90 days or less. So what I'm doing is I'm doing that, and I'm working with educators as well so that they learn how to calm anxious kids as well, so that kids get to live a life with courage and calm confidence so that they're thriving in this world. And I'm on a mission to reduce anxiety suffering in kids. 1 million kids. That's my mission. So
that is a great, ambitious goal. And you know what? You look like you've got the tenacity to hang in there and to do it. But it's each one, teach one, and parents have to take responsibility, but they need to have learning how to rethink, edit and filter, reframe things. It's different than it was when you and I were growing up. There's a lot of things that look different. So they have to, again, learn to acculturate and assimilate, even though they are parents. Wouldn't you agree, Sue?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm really about empowering the adults in kids' lives first so that they've got the tools to be able to support kids, so that then we're empowering the kids as well. So it's a win-win for both.
Absolutely. Well, I agree 110%. We'll talk more about it.
What my aim is I work with the parents. Most of them have an anxious child. So I am empowering the parents so that the child becomes empowered as well. So it's a win-win for both.
Okay, so what gives you the pixie dust to empower the entire family? Because really, I'm telling you, because that is a lot of different personalities, a lot of different pain points,
Yep.
a lot of negotiation, and you being the facilitator, where'd you get the pixie dust?
Yep. Well, everybody is unique. Every single
Really?
every single piece.
You
And
wouldn't
it's
know it by the way people act now. They're just so ugly. They all
I
act
know
the same.
well, a lot of people think that they need to be something because they're being told this, that, and the other. So there's a lot of uh, imposing ideas on how we should live our life and how we should be. But the reality of it is we're all incredibly unique. And one thing that I've learned throughout my life, having been an anxious child, having raised 3 children, 2 of which were anxious, having gone through a huge personal development journey myself, growth journey, having educated myself. So I was a leader in education and also in student wellbeing and student management, and working with so many different humans.
Right.
I have learned that it's not up to the others to adapt to me. It's up to me to adapt to them.
Wow.
So that it's so key for us to have the skills and the capability to be able to be behaviorally flexible so that we can adapt to others' needs, because that increases our connection.
That's when they coined the phrase, meet people where they are.
Yeah, 100%. So when if a child is experiencing anxiety, and typically we all experience anxiety from time to time, and
Every
anxiety.
day. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So and the thing is, feeling anxious has a purpose, and research does show that anxiety, there are some people, so this is everyone that experiences anxiety, and then there are some people who have an anxious temperament. So they're more likely to notice fear. They're on guard a bit more. They're far more receptive to what could go wrong.
Flight response.
Yeah. So they've got a very active amygdala, and there can be a range of different reasons why that is. It could be past trauma. It could be that they're neurodiverse. It could simply be that they have an anxious temperament, and that is the way they were born. It could be a whole bunch of life things. Yeah.
I have a question before we start into
I used to be a teacher. This is gorgeous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good, because we need the education. But I want you to dial back and explain this term that I'm hearing everyone use now, neurodiverse. Please explain that to my brains.
Well, it's simply, I love this because we're on the brains show.
Absolutely.
Because neurodiverse simply means that you're fitting. I'm a little reluctant to use too many labels, to be honest, because I think that we're all beautifully unique the way we are. However, understanding neurodiversity helps us to understand that not every brain ticks the same way. So neurodiversity simply means that your brain is slightly wired slightly differently to the general population. So
I'm glad you cleared that up for me, because I thought it was a person that may have a combination of ADHD.
Yeah, it is.
With that. Oh, but autism, they can be different places on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But that neurodiverse term is an umbrella term for people to have underlying. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
and the thing is,
so wait, let me just because while I'm thinking about this, girl, 60, I'll be done forgot it.
Don't worry, I'm 59.
Right. Oh, really? Oh, you look stunning. Okay,
Thank you.
so now the neurodiverse part of it, would that be categorized? Because again, we don't want to label, but we have to talk in simple language, what people
Yeah,
understand. You know, when we try to
yeah,
sugarcoat what it is, that's not how, people are talking at the kitchen table. So you
yeah,
can go ahead and use whatever terms you feel comfortable with, because my brains are expansive. They know that we're not trying to pick on anybody or say anything,
yeah,
but we
yeah.
want to be clear. Would that fall under a category of mental health?
Yes,
Mm,
yes. But the thing is, okay, so if we can take that back a bit, mental health, we all need mental health. If we look at what the word means, mental health is not a problem. Mental health is what we need. We need healthy mental functioning.
right, right.
So mental health, mental health is how healthy our state of our mental state is.
Did you
Does
hear
that
that,
make sense?
Brains? That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And do you know what? I like using the term mental wealth
Mm,
because that to me is mental well-being and health.
right, right. So
And it's expansive.
how does a person get from A to Z? I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff in between. Where do
Yeah.
they begin in noticing the signs and symptoms of needing some assistance outside of the norm? And whatever that
Oh, I
looks
love
like
that.
to you, Brains. We're not judging. Some people need, medication. Other people need talk therapy. Some people find spirituality. There's a whole laundry list of things that can help you raise to the next level. But the first step is identifying it. Wouldn't you think, Sue?
Awareness is absolutely key. So we can't change something or do something about something if we're unaware of it. So awareness is absolute key. If we're unaware, we're just blissfully ignorant. Now, when I say blissfully, some people believe that ignorance is bliss, but it isn't because you're stuck. You're actually stuck here and you're not growing and expanding and you're not possibly getting the help that you need, because every human needs help from other humans from time to time, because how can we be an expert on everything? So we all need to increase our awareness and have an expansive mindset so that we're open to other people shining the light on us, so that we're aware, we're increasing our awareness.
All
So
right.
you
Talk about
asked,
increasing awareness. I'm going to ask you about out of the box question. We're smashing anxiety. The world is changing. Parenting. Uh, our children now are going non-binary. They don't even want to be a male or female. The look and dynamic of a family has changed. I'm sure from how you and I grew up was traditionally the ethnic backgrounds, the cultural diversity. There's a lot going on in the mix in the world right now. So have you worked with any of these, specialized populations and really try, because that's a niche, but it's really something that's bringing up a lot of anxiety between parents and children.
yeah, look, I am open to working with anybody who is open to improving their life, who wants to go from, so people who generally come to me are parents or educators who want to learn more how to help anxious kids. But what I often find is that the adults also experience anxiety and they're struggling too. So what you asked earlier, you asked about what is the one thing? Awareness is key. Yes, it is. The key, though, when we're talking about in living our best possible life, is that we must empower ourselves first. So I believe that we've got a society that are very good at blaming other people, complaining about other people, noticing what's going on out there. And there's this big diversion away from self.
Mm.
And I'm very passionate about this because that is not empowering us. That is simply handing our power over to external things. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So the key is to empower ourselves first. So if we want to learn how to help kids thrive, we have to learn how to empower ourselves first, because how can we teach them to do it if we don't know how to do it ourselves?
Well, that's going back, and people don't want to, well, they're stuck. They don't want to progress forward. They're afraid, and they want to regress backwards, but you can't do that. Okay, so we're in this vortex. We're in this space, a holding space, as I call it. And COVID, it really separated the wheat from the straw. People got very anxious. Some people really did a lot of introspective work. During COVID, what did all of that teach you, Sue?
Oh, well, for me, it highlighted I don't know that I would categorize people as weak or strong, but I would categorize what I did notice was that in COVID, how you react or respond. Now, I'm going to say there's reaction and there's responding. There's reacting and responding. Reacting is when we're just in fear and we're in survival mode and we're worrying about everything. So we're just keeping our head above water, and there are people in survival mode everywhere. They're on the mouse wheel. They're just surviving, just getting through, and it's busy, and it's all going on. But there's also surviving as in, oh my God, everything's going wrong, and catastrophizing, because we're just
wait. Is that a real word? Catastrophizing?
Well, I made it up years ago, and I use it all the time.
Can I borrow that? I like that.
Yeah, go for it. So people can go into panic, and that's just fear-based. It's all fear-based thinking. So I talk about fear thinking and clear thinking. So when we're in fear thinking, we're not thinking rationally. We're blowing things up. We're anxious. We're worrying about what's going to go wrong. And we're very much worried about what other people are telling us, what other people are thinking. And we're allowing all of those thoughts to build fear in ourselves and worry. So in COVID, there were lots of people were doing that. And is it any wonder? Because the media thrives on telling us everything that's going wrong.
Well, good news doesn't sell.
No, that's right. It doesn't make money. So, they're not going to put on the news that, oh, everyone's had a beautiful day today. The sun was shining. Look at this happy family. No one buys into that. So we need to be, I often say that we need to be discerning. We need to help our generation, this new generation that is being saturated by external things. We need to help them be discerning and know that is not life, the whole of life. And that is somebody's point of view that they are imposing onto us. Right. And we need to be really mindful of that, because in COVID, I'm not going to say that it wasn't and isn't a massive problem. Right. There are massive problems everywhere in our world right now. There are massive problems, and some people choose to notice some, and some people choose to notice others.
But you know what it is, but what I want to do is I want people to be big enough to allow others to disagree with you.
100%. So I love that.
So many people are, compartmentalized. They don't want to see the forest for the trees. Exactly. My way or the highway. Well, newsflash. It's not going to be that way.
Yeah. And this is why Yeah. And this is why I talk about we need to rewrite our blueprint. Our blueprint. We need to rewrite the blueprint that we've got laid down in how the world works and the way we think. So when we can switch the way we're thinking and think, oh, okay, now how can I handle this? So if we're in reactivity, we're in fear. If we're in responding, we're stopping, we're breathing, and we're thinking about, okay, well, I'm actually fine right now. I'm good. You know, why are we attaching ourselves to those problems out there? It's not that we're ignoring it, but why take on all that negative energy and
Well, you
take that
know
on?
why? Because it's sad, but it's the familiar.
Yes,
It has
I
become the
agree.
familiar. It's become the regular.
Which is
Gloom and
which
gloom.
is
And I was got a little thing going on with the city here, and you know, don't come to me with what you can't do. I know what you can't do. I need a
yeah,
can-do attitude. I need
yeah,
you to really pull up on your bootstraps,
yeah,
brush yourself off, look in the mirror, have that I am conversation. I'm wonderful, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm
yeah,
strong, I'm loving, I'm rich, whatever. Just talk to yourself. And that
yeah.
will change the neuro linguistic programming in your mind. That will relieve
Exactly.
some of that. And then what happens is, how do you talk to your children? There are parents that swear, and there are children that swear at their parents. If my child swore at me, you have to dig me up out the ground, okay? Because I don't tolerate that. So now children communicate a whole different way. They'll be in the living room and they'll text you. All of this has set up boundaries and walls against general interaction. One-on-one compassion, getting out the fresh air. How are we bridging that? Because that's a very difficult cycle that we're in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's really great that you mentioned that. So there's two things here. So firstly is we do need to challenge the status quo, or what people are telling us how we're meant to be behaving in the world. And it's okay to have your kids not on devices all the time, and it's okay to have different strategies and to be playing outside and spending time in the fresh air and taking care of yourself, loving yourself. That's actually not just okay, it's necessary. So if we change the way we're thinking, and we change the way, and we start looking here, this is the key again, we're taking care of us. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that it is time that we stopped. I use the acronym, I use the image of an iceberg. So most humans focus on the tip of the iceberg above the water level, because that's what we can see. That's what we can see. So that's the behavior that we're seeing in people. So if it's undesirable behavior, we comment on it. We think we need to stop that. We need to stop that. We have to address that. And we're focusing on the surface. It's the external stuff. However, the behavior is only a very small component. It's what's going on underneath. As you were saying, the neuro-linguistic programming, the feelings, how we're feeling about ourselves, what's going on in here, it's what's going on underneath that's actually driving that behavior.
Right.
So we've got a whole society who is focusing on the surface behavior and telling us, oh, you can fix that by doing this. You can fix that by doing this. We've got parents who punish kids. We've got a lot of judgment. We've got in schools. I've got a client whose daughter was suspended for 3 months so that she would learn her lesson. Well, what a crock of, you know what? That is because she's not going to learn a lesson, because you're not addressing what's underneath, what's
Well,
actually.
you know what? But let me share something with you and get your perspective on this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but parents. What has been brought to my attention was that this generation is about 10 years developmentally delayed than what we were in our upbringing. Again, their responsibility levels, their desires, their wants, they don't want to move out. They want a tiny car. They don't want responsibility. They want to be able to work from their device. It's just a different world. And sometimes parents in this previous generation overcompensated. I know I got caught up in that. And you give
100%.
things to your children with listen to what I said, brains, your expectation of how they should respond to it, how they should perceive it, how they should manage it, negotiate it. But sometimes you overstep your boundaries. So it's a duality. Parents aren't always right. You have to really kind of, be a little bit more cautious now because it's a different cycle. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you. Up until the cautious, that can be a bit anxious and worried about whether they want to upset their child or challenge their child. So you said earlier about challenging the status quo. I actually think challenging our kids is good, as long as we do it respectfully. So I think we need to be a bit less cautious in a way, because I think many people are worrying about, oh, I can't have him or her feeling unhappy, being unhappy.
Well,
I
and
can't
they
have
do.
them.
That's a part of life. You have to understand the good, the bad, and indifferent. It's not going to be a bed of roses. Trust me.
Yes.
There are
So,
people there growing up on a bed of thorns. But
yeah.
what you have to do is you have to have balance and structure. I had a guest on my show that believed in unschooling and unruling. Well, that's not me. I see that children want a certain amount of discipline. They have to learn respect. We're not equals. And I
Yeah.
don't, I talk to you as a human being, not that goo goo gaga. My child came to me at 4 and 5 years old, asked me about sex. I explained it at her level.
Yeah.
I had all kinds of stuff. So parents have to still be parents. Sometimes they get confused and want to be a friend. They're too soft.
Can I share? Because I agree with what you're saying to a degree. I believe that there is too much focus on correction and instead of connection. Now, the thing is, parents who connect really well and have a wonderful relationship with their kids are able to set limits and boundaries much more easily. Parents who function from fear and control and correction have far less results, and their children are anxious because they're being controlled by their parents. So parents have a huge responsibility and must live up to their role of being responsible for their children. And they do have a job to guide their children so that they can thrive and live their best possible lives. That is a very important job.
Right.
However, what many parents are doing is they're doing what I describe as over helping,
Yeah.
or they're so I believe that there is helpful help and unhelpful help.
But it's a delicate act because you don't know until you know. You know,
100%,
you
which
get
is why I'm here, because I'm here to help parents tune into kids so that they know, so they're behaviorally flexible and they can adapt to what their child needs and do it with confidence and responsibility. So some children might need a hug right now, some children might need space right now, some children might need some strength and certainty. Some people might need love and softness. We need to be able to tune into our children and what they need so that they can then move through whatever's going on and start thriving again. So
absolutely. And so I
this is
think
about
that's what you're doing.
empowering. Yeah, we need to empower the parents so that they can empower their children. If we keep protecting them, because that's fear and control. So there's fear and control that's, the ugly, controlling, powerful, aggressive, or assertive, like really,
That
dominating
starts
parents.
back with the parents, how they were brought up. I don't think they just did that. It's epigenetic. It's
Yes,
generational. And so once
yeah.
they realize that, they can definitely break the cycle. You have been a wealth of information, Sue. I mean, we could talk for hours about this. You're doing some amazing work. Tell my brains about any current offerings that you may have and how to get in contact with you.
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you the details, April. So I'd love to offer anyone a free clarity call. So that's a 45-minute call that they can have with me. And what I'll do is, if they've got any questions or issues around parenting or educating kids, I can help them unpack what the challenges they're facing and support them and give them a really clear plan as to what they need to do to change things. And I also have a masterclass coming up in November, on November the 15th. It's a free masterclass, and it's on how to stop anxiety ruling your child's life. So that's on November the 15th. So I'll give you the details there. Now, it is in Australia. However, if you've got people watching from your side of the world, they simply need to contact me and I can send them a recording of that masterclass. And I've got a Facebook group.
Well, is it available on Zoom?
Yeah, it's on Zoom.
Okay. But if
it's just that the timing, it could be that some people are asleep while we've got this going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. So it's 7:30 in the evening in Australia, where I live. So, because right now it's 7:30 a.m. for me.
Oh, right.
It's actually, no, it's 8:11 a.m.
8:11 a.m. tomorrow. So, Brain, she's in our future.
And we're
here together on the edge, the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Thank you so much for being here with me, Sue. You are the absolute best. Brains,
thank you.
It takes a lot of work. Your kids didn't ask to come. Least you can do is be kind to them and be patient, but also be gentle with yourself. Thank you, Sue.
Love it. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Brains.